Hello and welcome here at the Roxy. We have a Hubéro, the first Hubéro of 2026 this year, and I speak English because this is the language of today's Hubéro. I am Kathrin Walde, I represent KulturHub. With me here is also Giulia Baldelli, who is in charge of the chat and will answer your questions for the people who are online with us tonight. For the people who are here in the room, it's going to be like this. We have a 20 minutes input from Nadina. Then we have 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes time for your questions. And this is also for the people who are online. Giulia will bring them into the room. And then we have Apéro here. And the people who are at home, they have to do the Apéro at home. Yes, and I also want to thank Kaspar for doing the technique today. That's it. I hand over to you, Nadina. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathrin. I am Nadina. Nice to meet you. I work for the association Artlink, where I am responsible for the event series Artlink Debates, as well as the co-program manager for Here I Am. Before we get into who we are, what we do, and how we do it, I just briefly want to show you the overview for tonight. You can just read through it by yourself quickly. So Artlink has been around since 1984, which means we have just recently celebrated our 40-year anniversary. And ever since the beginning, we have been committed to promote inclusion, participation, and diversity in the cultural sector. What makes this unique is that we connect the Swiss cultural landscape with the wider world and create spaces for and opportunities for exchange and encounter. That means that to date we have worked with over 15,000 artists and cultural practitioners from over 95 countries. We work with two main beneficiary groups, where the first is, I think someone wants to come in. The first beneficiary group is our artists and cultural practitioners with migration experience who live in Switzerland, where the main goal is to foster cultural participation and visibility. And the second beneficiary group are artists and cultural practitioners living in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe. There we work on facilitating access to the Swiss cultural market. We work on professional networks and offer other resources such as infrastructure. So how do we work with these beneficiary groups? You can see an overview of our project. I divided them in different sections for the purpose of tonight. And we will start with the first one, which is the focal point on Switzerland. And I think Here I Am is one of the projects that might be most interesting for a lot of you. We started the project in 2025, but before that we had a 4-year research project that was called Here We Are, where we conducted research with artists with migration experience through workshops. And this is the base of the Here I Am project. So Here I Am supports artists and cultural practitioners with refugee and migration experience in Switzerland, by connecting them with established cultural institutions and by offering opportunities to deepen know-how about the Swiss cultural landscape. Here I Am enables recently immigrated artists to resume their artistic practice in Switzerland. Based on the research that we conducted that I talked about before, we structured Here I Am in 3 main pillars, which are connect, learn, and work. Within Connect, we offer monthly meeting points and refer to the artlink directory, which I will talk about later on. Connect gives the opportunity to meet and exchange with peer artists and to network with other stakeholders from the field of arts and culture. Then Learn offers workshops with partnering offices, such as the KulturHub, to learn more about the funding landscape of Switzerland, to learn about legal rights and must do as an artist working in Switzerland. The last workshop we did was last Saturday in St. Gallen about the funding landscape of Eastern Switzerland, and the next will take place in Lucerne in May. The last pillar that we have, which is called Work, offers residencies, internships, as well as a new program that's called Peer-to-Peer program, where newly immigrated artists can connect with people who have been living in Switzerland for a longer time and therefore can share their knowledge from like first-hand experience. Here I Am has now a network of over 300 artists across Switzerland, which is really nice. And once a year we come together so they can network and exchange and just meet. Then the next project, which is maybe interesting for you, Julia, because it's called Weiterschreiben Schweiz. The project connects authors who have fled to Switzerland with established local authors. And we call these pairings tandems. The project supports authors in the public process by publishing and by understanding the local literature scene, and also just to amplify their voices in Switzerland. Currently, we have 10 tandems across Switzerland, and we have an artistic director in the Romandie, where the project is called Écrire encore, and we have also an artistic director in Ticino, where it's called Scrivere ancora. The project has been with Artlink since 2021, first as a mandate and now as an in-house project, let's say. And we had already a lot of book deals, which is really nice. And we attended book fairs as well. Yeah. So the next focal point is on international projects, where we have turntables. Turntables connects creative practitioners across the globe, offer skill sharing and training workshops, and create space for transcultural artistic collaborations. Just last year, we had a project with 3 expert organizations from the Global South. One is an agency in Nairobi, one is the Mekong Cultural Hub in Southeast Asia, and the third one is Meta Arts in Calcutta. And together with local artists from the respective regions, we created training formats for young cultural practitioners to strengthen them in a sustainable way. Then we have the South Culture Fund. This is the only mandate that Artlink has at the moment, and the South Culture Fund is managed by us on behalf of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. So in short, it's the SDC, or in German, the DEZA, maybe if you know that. So the fund enables artists from Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Eastern Europe to perform and or showcase their work in Switzerland by providing financial support. The South Culture Fund has 2 different funding formats. One is called Ongoing Grant Program, and the other one is called Call for Proposal Program. The Ongoing Grant Program accepts applications throughout the year, and the Call for Proposals Program offers 3 grants per year, targeting specific like themes, practitioners, regions, or disciplines, and is initiated by Artlink, but always in collaboration with an international partner. So for example, just a couple of weeks ago, we had choreographers, performers, and dancers from Balkan regions here in Switzerland, where they could connect and also participated in the Swiss Dance Days together. So this is an example. Next one, community and advocacy. I hope you can see it. This is now the Artlink directory that I mentioned before. The Artlink directory we started in 2022, and it is a digital artist directory through networking formats and other digital exchanges. Members can connect with each other and share their skills and expertise. The artists who are part of the directory are all artists who have collaborated with Artlink in the past or still work with us. Currently we have over 120 profiles, but we keep growing. The idea is as well to, like, not for only for artists to connect with each other, but as well, for example, for venues like the Roxy or the Kaserne to go and browse a directory and maybe find artists they want to work with. So that would be the main idea. The last project I'm going to talk about is Artlink Debates. The public interactive in-person debate series, let's call it, explores the relevance of culture in today's society with guests from fields of culture or politics or cultural sciences. And it's supposed to create space for collective thinking and reflection. So in case any one of you is in Bern tomorrow, tomorrow takes place the third evening of Artlink Debates. It will be in German, and it's about Wem gehört die Kultur? We have the guests Karin Bachmann, which is the director of the BAK, Bundesamt für Kultur, then Jasmina and Nabila Seraj, which are musicians from Sirens of Lesbos, and Gernot Wolfram, who is a journalist and an author and a professor at Campus Berlin. So yeah, you're warmly invited. Now I go over to our working principles. I talked a lot about like inclusion and participation, and the question is always like, how do we do it? And these four, like we broke it down to four main principles. We create connections, we collaborate, we ensure fair practices, and we share. So what does that mean? Or how do we do it? So we create connections by fostering exchange between artists and continents, which like this lies at the heart of each project that we do. Because we believe that communities provide invaluable space for learning and growing, and they allow for skill sharing and know-how transfer, as well as provide new perspectives and opportunities for collaboration. Which brings us to the second point, collaboration. We develop and implement all of our projects with institutional partners who share our visions and values, and we are convinced that joining forces and expertise and networks will lead to a more sustainable impact. How do we ensure fair practices? By listening. We listen, we meet artists and cultural practitioners at eye level and design all our work processes in a participatory manner. We involve artists and cultural practitioners when we create or review projects, funding formats, concepts, etc. And they're also represented in all of our juries or decision-making bodies. The artist needs and perspectives are our starting and ending point when we work. Lastly, we share the insights and findings from our projects with artists, partners, funders, and other institutions involved in cultural cooperation. They are always free to use and to access. We share the learnings, for example, as a report on our website or on social media, or for one of the projects, we even did a podcast that you can listen to in English or in French. Right, I'm already coming to the last slide. I think I'm talking very fast, but that's fine. There is more time for questions. So before the end of this introduction to Artlink, I want to share our vision because I stumbled upon it when I created this presentation, and I think it captures Artlink's work and essence really nicely. So we strive towards a future with vibrant and diverse cultural landscapes, co-created by artists from all cultural backgrounds. A future where cultural diversity can fulfill its potential on a local and global level as a uniting, inspiring, and uplifting force in fostering inclusive, resilient, and democratic societies. This is actually my final word, Kathrin, already. I just want to say, if you are, for example, interested in the Here I Am project, you can come to me later. I have an Excel, so I can take up your contacts, and you will be informed about next meeting points and workshops, etc. Thank you.
Thank you for this input about Artlink. This was very interesting for me. I hope also for the people online and for you here. So now it's your time to ask questions. And I will come with the microphone because otherwise the people online or the people who who watch this video afterwards won't hear your questions. Yes. Any questions?
I'm curious about this writing program, Weiterschreiben.
Yes.
Whether that includes or currently includes screenwriters, or is that more directed towards sort of book authors?
It's more directed to literary or like book authors at the moment, but if you have ideas, just come up to us and like just say if you have an idea to work with someone. But for people who work with film, there's the South Culture Fund, but it depends where the person is coming from. But sometimes we have calls just directed to screenwriters.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Are there online questions so far? So far, no. Yes, so then I have another question. So you have a lot of programs and projects. How many people are you working for Artlink?
So the main team consists of like 7 or 8 people now, but we have a really extensive network of experts or like people from the field, and again, like I mentioned before, a lot of artists who we work with. So the team itself is rather small, but like we have a really extensive network as well. Like for example, Kulturhub, we count as a partner for Here I Am. So yeah, we have great people around us.
Thank you. Other questions? Yes, please.
Regarding the Here I Am program, I mean, I'm here now in Basel.
Right.
I came here last year, and I've actually looked at your website, but I wasn't really sure, because I feel addressed, when I read the description, I feel addressed by it, but I was a bit unsure because I came from Germany, and I speak German. So, what are the backgrounds of the people that are there, sort of artistically speaking, but also geographically speaking?
It's actually really funny because when I came here, I wondered what questions would be asked, and I was like, what if someone is from Austria or like Germany? Because we've never had it before, but we are very open to it for the Here I Am project because it's about like finding your footing in Switzerland, right? So the background of half of the Here I Am people are people with refugee experience. So like a lot of people from the Ukraine, for example, who are part of it, and like half of it are here for other reasons. But we would totally include you, even if you're from Germany. As for the disciplines, it's very like broad. Like we have musicians, we have visual artists, we have transdisciplinary artists, and they're literally like from all over the world. Yeah. So you could totally come to our next meeting point, for example.
Thanks. Do you ever have meetings in Basel?
Yes, we do. We were here last year for the Theater Festival, for example. But it's always different. So every month we go to a different canton or city, so that artists see how broad the cultural landscape is of Switzerland. So this month we're going to Lausanne, and next month we're going to Solothurn. But the other month we don't know yet. Yeah.
So you have monthly meetings,
exactly.
in-person meetings.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's good.
Exactly. Yeah, which is really nice. But the places are limited, so you have to be quick. Yeah, it's about 15 to 20 artists per meeting point. And we try to be very varied, for example, have performances one time and then go to an exhibition the other time. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for your questions.
So just to understand, continue on that. You try to bring artists from the same background, sort of artistic background together?
No, not necessarily.
Or
no,
diversified?
Literally everybody is welcome, and we think it's really interesting to just bring people together, no matter what their background is or what their discipline is, because we already found that there is a lot of connections or collaborations happening, which is really nice. But each meeting point is for all disciplines and all backgrounds. So, yeah, no, not specifically. Not so far. Maybe would this be something interesting for artists to just meet amongst their own discipline?
I think both is interesting. Transdisciplinary is very interesting to me personally, but I'd also be interested in meeting people from my creed, so to speak, because I've mainly interacted with here in Basel in the freelancer scene with dancers and puppetry artists, even though I myself am a trained actor. And I've not really been in touch with actors, though I'm a bit wary of my people, the actors and actresses,
He's from the theater too, so.
I'm a bit cautious with them. They can be tricky. But no, I'd like to meet more. And I think a focused event could be interesting. Not too regularly, but, once in a while, that would be good.
That's really nice,
Switzerland and sort of the German part is rather, from my understanding and feeling, it's rather small and close together. So, when you meet a couple people one time, you've basically met quite a bit of the portion of people, perhaps, or made, substantial links.
No, that's really good. I wrote that down to discuss, because it's always good to get input and adjust the project to real needs. So that's really interesting, yeah. Focus meetings. Great, thank you.
Yes.
There's still no questions from the chat, but maybe I can ask a question. Yeah, I have a question about the Weiterschreiben program. And I was just wondering if you could just elaborate a little bit more about how it works. Mm-hmm. So, for example, you talked about there's a group in Ticino and a group in the Romandie. How it works with the languages, for example. So I advise a lot of authors here, in the region. So, for example, if I wanted to tell them about this program, if they want to get involved, what should I tell them, basically?
It's a really good question. So we have the Écrire encore and the Scrivere ancora is really new. We started it last or the year before, because we realized that it's really hard to go across the language borders, but we still have meetings together. But they're basically people who or the artistic director from Ticino, she scouted authors and people who speak Italian and proposed them to us, kind of. In the beginning, it was really hard for us to find, so actually the project comes from Germany initially, Weiterschreiben Deutschland, where it's huge, and then we took it over as a mandate. But in the beginning, it was hard to find authors as well, because we didn't know their backgrounds or their qualities, etc. But now we have actually quite a long waiting lists, because authors approach us because they want to be part of these tandems. So what you always can tell them is to just reach out and express their interest to us, but there is a waiting list at the moment. But the cool part about this program is if a tandem or like if an author is like established as well here, like the tandem closes and it gives space for another tandem as well. So we can like, they can, or you can tell them to reach out to us and we will like put them on a list and would reach out to them if there is more space opening. And again, like there is the list for Romandie, Ticino and like German speaking part as well. Did this answer all your questions? Okay, great.
Are there other questions? No question in the chat so far?
Because it's rainy, so
yes,
people are like
no,
at
it's
home, cozy.
Yes, it's very.
Yeah.
I very appreciate you coming here through the rain. Yes, I'm also a little bit curious about this new format, this artlink debates. Can you tell us a little bit more? Like, what's the idea and where does it lead to, or what's your?
Well, that's a good question. Like, where does it lead to? We hope that somehow we can use the learnings and share them with like other cultural organizations. And basically, the idea of the format came up because there are all the budget cuts in the cultural sectors, and we were kind of lost and we're like, what can we do about it? So we take like very specific questions that are really hard to answer. So the first event was called Wer braucht die Kultur? Then we have also had one that's called Was kann die Kultur? Now, wem gehört die Kultur? And the last one will be Wie überlebt die Kultur? And I mean, these questions are very essential, but who can answer them? And that's the idea of the format. It's very interactive, so like the guests we invite interact with the audience. And yeah, we always share the learnings on our social medias the week after, so the take-home messages that we got from the night. And what we do in the end is not clear yet. Yeah, but we also try to, so we invite people from the politics. So for example, we had Gerhard Pfister with us. So we try to also get like right people in and people from politics so that they bring it back to their hub basically. And just spread the word. Yeah, just like also to raise awareness about the whole situation and also to show how valuable culture is and what it actually does and that like everybody is involved in culture in one way or another.
Thank you. Are there other questions? Yes, please.
The Artlink directory, you said, how many people did you say are in it? Or
Currently over 120.
20. Do you have any insight or did you receive feedback from those people whether they had been reached out to by institutions?
So they have I don't know specifically about this question, but I know that we have meetups, like digital meetups every now and then, and I'm sure that we would talk about this, but I cannot tell you right now if, for me specifically, I don't work at the directory, so no one reached out to me, but I can find out and let you know when you give me your contact. Yeah, it's a good question, but we hope so, yeah.
I was just interested how visible it is to, I don't know, as you mentioned, Kaserne here in Basel or Roxy.
Yeah, so the good thing is we always work together with them as partners, so we always proactively mention that we do it. Yeah.
So they're aware of it?
I hope so. So we keep mentioning it. So for example, we did the festival lab with them for the Theater Festival.
Can you say that again?
Festival lab. I think they were called labs, and these were artists coming through the Artlink directory actually. So I'm pretty sure that Kaserne is aware of it. I would hope so. Yeah. Thank you.
So I guess maybe it's the last question, or maybe there will be some more, but I have some questions also about funding. That is also maybe did you also, how is your experience with all these funding cuts, internationally or also for the also Switzerland cut funding for international collaboration. How does this affect you as Artlink?
Yes, so that's a big question. Actually, it affects us a lot because the South Culture Fund that I mentioned before will terminate by the end of 2028. And we are currently working on finding other funders or people who would like give us money so we can continue the work with people from elsewhere. But we don't know how it goes. So like we just really like try to fund on different levels now. But it's really affecting us as Artlink and all other 12 SDC partners, which are, for example, Locarno Film Festival or Theaterspektakel. We all have like severe funding cuts. So yeah, we try to find solutions and talk to the back. And so if someone is listening and wants to give Artlink money, we would take it, definitely. Yeah, but we really we feel it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for especially now doing this work and trying to get a future, to work on the future. Yes, and online questions?
There's not a question, it's a comment.
Comment?
It's about you, actually. Yes. So the comment reads. It's pretty sweet. The comment reads, I don't have a question, I just want to state that, Kathrin, you are a walking, living legend and you are missed. And it's by someone called Estrella Negra. Ich weiß nicht, wer das ist. Maybe you know her.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good word to end on.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nadina. Thank you for being here. Thank you also, Julia and Kasper, for the technique and for the online, the correspondence. And now before we start with our Apéro, and you at home also start with your Apéro at home, I just found out that in the beginning I was looking at the beamer instead of the camera. Just found out this now. So yes.
Great.
Yes, I just wanted to say that on the 27th of May we have the next Hubéro, and we will have here Sabina Brockal from the Abteilung Kultur Basel-Stadt, and she will tell us about all these different formats that the Canton Basel-Stadt City and Canton Basel-Stadt have now, also with the Trinkgeld-Initiative that they now have, and yes, how they work and where you can apply for funding. So thank you very much, and yes, see you at the Apéro.
Thank you.